We're now going to focus on artificial intelligence. How do AI developments benefit the society? What kind of trustiness, openness, and ethics are needed when building AI applications? And are there any? I'm very happy that he can be here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Han Xiao, engineering lead at Tencent AI Lab, a board member at Linux AI Foundation, and the chairman of the German-Chinese Association for Artificial Intelligence. Welcome.
Oops. OK. Here we go. So it is good morning, everyone. It's my great honor to be here to give you an introduction about Tencent AI Lab. And I will select some very interesting AI projects that we developed in the 2018 and 2019. So for European friends who are not very familiar with Tencent, one of the warm-up questions would be, what is Tencent? Right? So is Tencent just like a 10 cents, like a coin? Or is Tencent an internet service provider, a social media company, an investment company, a fintech, a video game, or cloud computing company? The answer is actually quite obvious. Right? Tencent is everything except the coin. In fact, we are one of the largest internet service providers in the world, and we are listed under Fortune 500 in 2017 and 2019. We are the most valuable brand in China. But when we talk about Tencent, the first thing we think about is not about all this title and honors that we have. It's about the super large user base that we have. Right? I'm talking about WeChat, the #1 social app in China. There we have 1,000 million monthly active users. We also have QQ, which is another social app, but targets more as a teenagers. There we have 800 million monthly active users. We have Tencent Video, which works like a YouTube plus subscription. There we have 600 million monthly active users. We also have our own Facebook, which is called Qzone, and our own browser. So what does this tell you, and how does it relate to artificial intelligence? So this super large user base basically sends out two signals, or two messages. So first of all, Tencent has a super long product lines. So every day there are thousands of softwares being developed simultaneously across different teams. So if you walk into an office, ask your colleague, what are you working on, what are you developing right now, you probably get different answers from person to person, from day to day. So these many software products that we are developed suggests that there are a lot of potentials and possibilities that one can plug in AI technology into the existing product and improve the customer user experience. So the second message I want to send out is AI needs data, and at Tencent we never lack of data. Right? So imagine how much data that we can generate every minute based on this super large user base. So we can leverage this data not only to train a good machine learning or AI model, but to train the best model. I believe these are the two prerequisites that if one wants to build a world-class research lab in the corporation. Tencent AI Lab is also not the only research lab inside Tencent. At Tencent, we heavily invest in ABC technology, which is artificial intelligence, robotics, and quantum computing. So if we look back about the AI development in the last 20 years, so we see there is a paradigm shift from X plus AI to AI plus X. So when we talk about X plus AI, X is always the core value of the product. To give you an example, when we talk about artificial intelligence or machine learning back in 2000, people always use the example of spam filtering. Spam filtering is basically use machine learning algorithm, probably based on Bayes classifier, to train a model that can help you filter out those messages that are unrelated to you from the inbox. Right? So this is a very nice feature and very practical feature that everybody likes. But remember, the core value of an email system is still about reliably sending and receiving email. It's never about filter out those messages. So the core value of the product is still about email sending and receiving itself. But right now, when we stand here in 2019, and when I ask the question, what is the AI products that you can think of? The first thing comes up in your mind is probably Apple Siri, right? Where the human-machine interaction now becomes the core value of the product. The same goes if you buy a Tesla car, you still have to pay a lot for the car itself, but then you have to pay additional money, about 3,000 or 4,000 euro, to enable the autonomous driving software package for this car. Right? So at Tencent AI Lab, we realized this paradigm shift, and we really want to boost the paradigm shift from X plus AI to AI plus X. In particular, we focus on the AI techniques that could reshape the industry in the future. So if you zoom into the research landscape of Tencent AI Lab, we have 4 pillars. So in the center, we have machine learning, and around it, we have computer vision, natural language processing, and speech recognition. So I believe one of the popular metric to measure the success of a research lab in the corporation is to see how many publications that we have in the top tier conference. If we take that KPI as a measurement, then Tencent is not doing a bad job. So in fact, we are ranked right after those US tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and Facebook, and we are #1 in terms of the number of publications among all the Chinese competitors. We're also partnering a lot of academics, universities, and also research institutes, especially in US and UK. Okay, now I'm going to select some very interesting projects that particularly use AI for the social good. So the first project I want to share with you is AI plus farming. This is a very interesting project, and this is real projects that we have done in Netherlands. So the idea is very simple. We grow a lot of cucumber in the glass house. And the cucumber can be placed into tier A, tier B, tier C. Our tier A has the best quality. The ultimate goal is, of course, to maximize the profit. But meanwhile, we are facing 2 constraints. The first constraint is we want to maintain the sustainability. That means reduce the energy consumption, water consumption, electricity consumption, and also we want to protect the environment by using as less pesticide as possible. We know that farming has been always like a very heavy human involvement procedure. That's why we want to reduce operation costs by reducing human involvement in this procedure. Also remember, if you build a smart farm or smart glass house, you always need to use a lot of sensor in the glass house, right? So you also want to keep your budget low and use as less sensor as possible, but keep the glass house as smart as possible. So our solution is based on reinforcement learning and lifelong learning, where we deploy multiple sensors in the glass house, and these sensors are used to collect data such as humidity, weather, temperature, or even the color of the cucumber. And we collect this information, input this information to a model, and then let the model to generate a policy. This policy could be turn up the heat, turn on the light. Once we execute the policy, we observe what are the cucumbers' reaction against those policies. Is this growing better or is this growing worse? We collect this data again and then feed to the algorithm again. We repeat this process again and again until we get better and better policy. So this is what we call reinforcement learning. If we repeat it indefinitely, then this is what in the AI community called lifelong learning. We also build a simulated glass house to speed up this process. So at the end of the day, we have a very fruitful result, like literally very, very fruitful result. Here are the cucumbers that we grew in Netherlands glass house. And you can, if you zoom into the picture, then you will see there is a tag with Tencent logo printed on it. So the average profit about this cucumber is about 20 euro per square meter, which almost equal to an experienced farmer in Netherlands. And here the glasshouse learned to turn on the HPSL light, which is a special light to help the plant grow in the cloudy weather. Bringing AI into farming just one first small step for Tencent. At Tencent, we really want to solve few problems. That includes farming, food, energy, and water. Right? So we are sitting here, we don't have too much farming experience, but I don't have to emphasize how these are the fundamental problems that the world is facing today. That's why we want to research this problem very seriously and found out a sustainable solution using artificial intelligence. So we are partnering with Chinese Academy of Agriculture Science to find out the best AI solution towards these few problems. The second project I want to show you is AI plus healthcare. So this is an in-house developed or manufactured microscope, electron microscope, embedded with computer vision algorithm. So it can help the doctor to diagnose cancer very easily. There we have, so this electron microscope can also receive real-time feedback. It receives voice command, and I automatically generate a report based on what you have observed. We also have a diagnose program to help the doctor identify those Parkinson's patients. This is also based on computer vision algorithm and sensor networks. The third project I want to show with you is AI plus society. Here is a very interesting example. We built a sign language translator for people who suffer from the hearing loss. So in China, we have 72 million of people who suffer from the hearing loss. This number is equal to the 3 times population in Beijing. Unfortunately, in China, we have to admit that the accessible environment is not very well established, especially in medium and small city. As a comparison, we only have 10,000 volunteers who really dedicated themselves to help those people who suffer from the hearing loss. So what are the challenges here? The challenges here is, first of all, the sign language can be different from place to place. So if you live in Shanghai, then you probably use a different set of sign language than people who live in Guangzhou or Beijing. And US sign language, American sign language is of course different than Chinese sign language. The second thing is the hand motion can be very subtle, but means completely different. So for example, in American Sign Language, the letter A and the letter S, they all look like a fist. The only difference is how where your thumb is positioned. So this subtle difference requires a very high precise computer vision algorithm. In order to solve this problem, we really go from city to city in China and build the largest Chinese Sign Language data set and try to solve this problem. So I will omit all the technical details here. So the final result will be like that. It's like a Google translator, but the input will be the real-time video from people who use the sign language, and the output will be your natural language text. The second very meaningful example in the line of AI plus society is using computer vision algorithm and found the lost children. So in China, we have 20,000 missing children every year. Unfortunately, only 0.1% of them are eventually found. By found, I mean the kid could be lost at age 2, but found before age 18. So this is also considered as a found. The challenge here is pretty obvious. In China, we have super big population, and we have billion-level faces, and also one of the most obvious challenges is that a kid's face change over time significantly. So how do you inference this kid look like in the next coming year? This is also a problem. So we use an algorithm called generative adversarial network and try to make an inference how the kid look like over 2 years, over 5 years, and over 10 years. And we use this synthetic artificial aged face as a query and fire this query to the police database and try to help the policeman to find the lost children. So there are some successful stories here. This is a joint project with Sichuan Police Department, and we actually found multiple children and makes their family united. And one child is found after 10 years. So I won't take all the credit to AI because the police actually do all the dirty and hard work. But this is one good example that once we use AI in a good way, this can really benefit our society. Of course, when I give this presentation, people are saying, okay, this project or this technology can go so wrong in so many ways, right? It is true that if you think about it, dynamite, gunpowder, nuclear power, history have told us once and once again, if there is a technology, or whenever there is a technology advancement that can hurt mankind, it will. So that's why when we develop AI, we need we need governance, we need compliance. So that's why AI, ethics, and trustworthy is one of the most important topics at Tencent AI Lab. In fact, we developed this this ethical arc framework to help us develop AI projects in a safe and healthy way. In particular, this AI arc composed of 4 perspectives, 4 principles. The first is available, reliable, comprehensible, and controllable. So we have published this ethical framework in the World Economic Forum. So if you are interested in that, you can read that later afterwards. So whenever there is a new project at Tencent AI Lab, we have to align the mission of this project from these 4 perspectives. In order to enforce this framework to be executed, then we require multi-level governance. At the bottom, we have education and awareness raising. So basically, we provide ethical training course for all the AI researchers and engineers, and that lets them to know what are the potential ethical problems or data privacy problems that we could encounter. On top of that, as one of the biggest players in the industry, we have to develop AI projects in a more self-disciplined way. That includes pushing forward the industry standard, using best practice, and educating other startups to follow some technical guidance. And finally, on the state level, we require some laws and regulation. This includes criminal law, international law, and national committee on the technical ethics. And finally, when you apply this AI ethics model or AI ethics framework into your company, you realize that this will slowly change your company. This includes force you to rethink about the business practice that you recognize and you followed for many years. This includes changing the company culture to align the social value. This also includes some reshape or restructure of your organization. So in the end, I want to send out a message before the end of my talk. So I see a lot of people worrying, have a very skeptical ideas about artificial intelligence. As AI grows more and more powerful, people argue, people question, people doubt, worry about the future of AI. People question whether their data privacy can be really protected. People question about the application boundary of AI. People worry about AI will one day take away their job. But these are not real questions, right? So these are the concerns. These are the valid concerns, but they are not real questions. On the one hand, you cannot blame technology for the way people choose to use it. On the other hand, the real question is, as an engineer, as a developer, can you ensure your algorithm is not biased, is not using abused data? And as an entrepreneur, as you sitting here today, can you ensure your business value is in line with the social value? And as a country, can you think beyond AI advancement as competition, it's more about collaboration across the borders. And as all individual, can you believe, do you believe AI can make our lives much better, more enjoyable, and more safer? So the real question, funny enough, is not about questioning itself. It's about believing something. So my final question to all of you is, what do you believe? And that concludes my talk. Thanks.
Thank you. Please stay on stage and